Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. We're live, local, and ready to get things rolling on this Wednesday morning. Glad that you've got Up and Adam with us on this wild card Would You Rather Wednesday. I got a special show lined up for you. Want to invite you to get in on the conversation. If you're tuned in via the live stream, you're the only way we're broadcasting today. We're not on the radio airways. So that's why you need to tell your family and friends about what we do and how we do it right here on the Martin Houston Show. The podcast, the live stream is the only version of the show today. So make sure you follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Facebook at Alabama Sports and the Martin Houston Show. One page there called Alabama Sports and the Martin Houston Show. Follow us there. And you'll be able to not only be a part of the live podcast, but also stay connected with us throughout the day, throughout the weekend, etc. You can also subscribe now. I'll share that link here in a moment. We are taking subscriptions, and there'll be some special shows, special podcasts, special events that happens to just that group and for that group, and also be opportunity to get some special discounts and different things on swag and other items as we move closer or further into the summer and closer to football season kicking off. Working on some NIL, old school NIL swag that we hope to have rolled out, have some Bama official logos on it, and tell you how to get that as well. So thank you so much for getting up and Adam with us this morning on this Wild Card Wednesday. Would You Rather Wednesday? Got a great show, as I said, lined up for you. Talking a little Bama baseball. Things didn't go the way the Tide had hoped on yesterday. We'll talk about whether or not that impacts the Tide's ability to get into the regional. Some people seem to think so. I do not. I think their resume is good enough for them to get into the tournament. Also, today we'll have our wild card Would You Rather Wednesday question of the day. And that is, would you rather be a head coach during Bears era and his prime and when he was doing his thing in the 70s, or would you rather be during Saban's era when he was doing his thing kind of in that 2009-10 range up until 2020? Which one would you rather be, Coach Bryant or Coach Saban? And we'll talk about why. Also, the NIL is the conversation that just keeps on giving. It just keeps on giving. UGA quarterback enrollee Jaden Rashada is now suing Florida over failed NIL deal. He claims it was worth over $13 million. Claims they promised him money and they didn't come through. We'll talk about it, and then time permitting, we'll have some conversation around SEC. This is one of those kick the can types of topics, but SEC top coaches and hottest seats. And then, of course, we'll wrap up today's program with the Harvest Church Christian Moment of the Week with Scotty, Hollins, Executive Director, Blueprint Ministries. Remember that this is a day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. Good morning, X. How you doing, man?
Good morning. Doing well. How are you?
Doing well. I want to give you a chance to maybe save yourself. You in DC, y'all were just totally wrong yesterday, man. On the whole, it's funny. It's funny how we do things. Like I gave a specific question, then y'all put in some other options that I didn't give to answer the question. But I wanted to give you a chance and see if you wanted to rebound or rethink. You had a little time to think about it. I had a little bit more than you guys. But before we move into the Would You Rather Wednesday question once again, which is, would you rather be the head coach for Nick Saban era, kind of his prime era, which I guess would be 2009-ish to about 2020, or Coach Bryant, kind of 2000, 1970 to 79-ish. Which one would you rather be? So we want our listeners to interact, post their comments on the live stream there. But from your viewpoint, circling back on this deal, no deal, I'm gonna offer you the deal again, X. I just want to see if you see how smart you guys are. This is the deal. There is no alternative. You either have all the players continue to go to the draft as juniors, and they still have the portal the way it is today. That's what the scenario is. They come to you and you negotiate somehow, some way. You convince them to give up their junior year. I mean, the ability to leave as juniors, and you get to limit the portal to one free transfer. You still not going to take that deal?
I'm not going to take
it. Explain that to me. Explain that to me. How could you not take that deal? What's the negative to you taking that deal? I'm still trying to figure out from you guys why you wouldn't take the deal.
So me, with the negative, even as a head coach, yes, there's the positive. You limit the portal. You keep the portal how it is, but they have to come back for their senior year. Well, you're still having to recruit. You still have to keep them at your university. But I look at it more from the players aspect of it.
You're trying to keep a job, though, man. You're trying to keep a job.
I get it. I just think it's dangerous because how many Marshall Lattimores are there? How many guys are there out there that were going to be first round draft picks and tear an ACL, have their career in because they had to come back for one more year?
But that's the case for sophomores who are upcoming juniors. 100%. You still play them.
But now you're adding another 12.
So let me ask you something, X. Before juniors started playing, what used to happen? Before juniors started going into the draft, what used to happen?
The same thing.
Do you think more juniors have the Marcus Lattimore scenario, or more juniors go to the league and don't get drafted? Which one you think happens the most?
Probably more juniors go to the league and don't get drafted.
Exactly. So
but how many of those guys that don't get drafted as juniors get drafted as seniors?
I don't know. I don't know, but the chances of them getting drafted, if they thought they were good enough as juniors to go into the draft, the chances of them getting drafted would drastically increase. In football, the longer you play, the lower that is. But in football, how many guys from the small school drafted because they came back for their senior year and don't end up getting, but they end up finding themselves good enough after another year at a small school, just that
maybe the small school,
but my point is, if you get better as a small,
I agree, you get better, but think about running backs. Running backs have a short shelf already. And now you're going to add another 150 to 250 carries on their body.
But here's the question, X. Here's the thing. I get you saying that you care about the player. The junior thing used to not be a thing. It used to not be a thing, and it was not an issue. It's the same way, the same argument that is being made about stopping guys from transferring is the same argument that people used to have about people leaving their team to go to the NFL. I'm just saying, you're saying this like the reality of it is you might have that much integrity and you might feel that way about the players. I'm guaranteeing you most coaches would not, if they had a choice to stop this portal and get a guy back, that they would rather be re-recruiting. Would you rather be recruiting a guy who's played for you for 3 years, who is a pro potential guy, or would you rather be recruiting a high school kid? And you're telling me that you would rather recruit a high school kid than a junior. You're trying to keep your job and feed your family and all of that. And if this portal stays open the way it is, and juniors can leave, because they're now going to leave you, they're going to leave you either to the league and or to the portal.
I mean, I get your point, and I get where you're coming from with it.
Virgil, hold on. Virgil Williams said the players we're talking about getting better with a senior year are the ones that hasn't played as much as a freshman or sophomore. I give you Malachi Moore. Malachi Moore could have gotten drafted 2 years ago. Right or wrong?
Yeah.
And you're telling me you wouldn't, if you had a choice, you wouldn't have a Malachi Moore return versus the portal staying open. You have a choice. The players have agreed to this. This is not you forcing them. They agreed. They negotiated this. And they said, we'll come back for our junior year to keep the portal open. Come back my senior year to keep the portal open. They agreed to that. You guys are better people than I am. I'm just saying. I'm bringing Malachi Moore back, and I would rather be recruiting Malachi Moore back or Mac Jones back, because Mac Jones technically could have left as a junior. He didn't have a lot of playing time. Let's say that Jalen Milroe has a great year this year, X. You're telling me that you could bring Jalen Milroe back next year automatically. Jalen Milroe would not be able to leave after this year. And you're telling me you would say, I know I could have had a rule in place to bring him back, but I'm going to let that go. And I'm going to let the portal stay open and let Milroe leave when I could have at least had a chance to recruit Milroe back for his senior year. For everybody that thinks that guys don't get better their senior year just because they've been good, that's crazy.
No, I think you do. You're still at that age, at 22, 23, you're still physically maturing.
That's right. And so I guarantee you there are more guys that don't make their NFL career dreams come true because they left at juniors than there are guys who get injured. I guarantee you there would be more guys who would make the NFL if I, as a coach, had the ability to make them come back, or they had to come back. I guarantee you there's more that would be in the NFL if they had to come back as seniors. Then there are guys who don't make it because of an injury. So, or am
I don't disagree with that.
So in the long run, and not looking at a specific player, as a coach, would I be doing the players a greater service as a whole? Because those who are that good, they can still get their contract. I mean, their insurance policies. They would still be able to get the Lords of London. I'm just like I said, y'all better. Hey, like I said, I mean, I'm a player coach. I love the guys. But if I have a chance to keep them jokers on my roster and have to recruit them to stay on my roster, and versus having to go out and try to find the next version of them from high school or from the portal. I mean, of all the portal guys, have all of them panned out even for Alabama? You have to think Alabama has pulled the best portal guys out there. Who's been the best portal guy? What portal guy has just been heads and shoulders above what Alabama already had?
Jama.
Who else?
I'm trying to think of who all we gotten from the portal. Jamo. Burton was solid.
He was solid, but with Burton, you're right. Burton was solid. But are there other guys that would have stepped up had we not got Burton? I think so. I don't think Burton his junior year was that special. I think he may have stole reps from some of the guys who ended up transferring.
Probably.
And I think we'd have more guys on the roster now had they not brought Burton in, that we would be better off at wide receiver. I think Jamo clearly, right?
Yeah.
But what other transfer? Gibbs was solid, but we didn't use him right. I mean, I think Gibbs should have been. Yeah. Gibbs could have been an all-world, but we didn't use him right. So did we really get an advantage bringing Gibbs in? I
think we got an advantage simply off of the fact that Roydell and Jace were coming off of ACL injuries.
So who didn't play much because Gibbs was here? Miller, right? Jam Miller.
Yeah.
Do you think Jam should have played more? And would Jam be a better player now as a junior? And was it? I mean, yeah. I mean, you see what I'm saying? It's like the catch-22 of the transfer portal. Yeah. We haven't knocked these home runs out, and I think that's ultimately what's gonna self-correct this whole transfer portal thing. If I was a coach, I would be getting the statistics ready right now. You know what I mean? I'd be out there going, all right, guys, look how many guys are in the portal right now. And like I'd have a poster of Carmani McLean, isn't that his name? From Colorado. Yeah. 5-star to PWO. Right?
Right.
I mean, so it's kind of crazy to think about. Like I said, in a perfect world, would I want to limit a junior? Absolutely not. I wouldn't. But twofold, is the junior really? Am I really hurting most of the juniors if they have to come back? And if they've been with me 3 years and they were good enough to leave potentially, would they leave? Probably not. Right. I'd rather be recruiting a guy as a senior than I would a guy as a freshman. I'd rather be paying my NIL money to keep a senior than I would to have to give something to a freshman who's done nothing. I mean,
I get it.
Yeah. Like I said, I tried to give you a chance, man. I tried to give you a chance to come out of the woods, but you stayed in the woods, man. You're a good dude. You good people. You're gonna give up the portal players and your seniors. I mean, good luck, coach. Now, no, watch this. But everybody dogs Dabo Swinney. Everybody dogging Dabo. X, have you heard what Dabo said about the portal?
How he compared high school kids to portal.
No. Well, that too. But listen to this. Agree or disagree with this statement. Dabo said there's 3 types of players that go into the portal. 3. Okay. One is the player who has already made his decision. There was already tampering going on. You know, there's already tampering going on. So that guy isn't coming to Clemson anyway, right?
All right.
So Dabo said what? Well, we can't get him. True or not? Agree or disagree?
Agreed.
Okay. He said the second group, well, actually, that was his second. His first group of guys were guys who left the portal, left their teams because they were seeking more playing time. And is that the majority of the guys that left Alabama?
Yes.
How many guys left Alabama that don't fall into that category? We only had a couple of guys that were playing that left.
Right. 4, I think.
Right? Or they were going to be beaten out. Like Roydell left. But Roydell was at least the 3rd best running back on this team coming into this year. I like Roydell. He's an Alabama kid. But I'm not taking Roydell as a 5th-year senior over Jam
or
Justin.
Or I might not take him over Rich.
Right. I said at least. That's why I said at least. All right. So is Dabo, do you agree with Dabo's statement there that a lot of the guys who went into the portal, we had Bond that went into the portal who was a starter here, but was Bond some great home run hitter for Alabama? Take away the grave digger play, and can we replace him with a good wide receiver? Yes, he was a starter, but would he be a starter before this year? X, what would he be in the Waddle and backwards era?
Oh, he would have been a
5th, 6th,
5th best,
maybe,
5th,
right?
Maybe.
Well, he wouldn't have been because he would have.
He would have been the 6th. He would have been the 6th. Well, do you count Mechie?
That's what I'm saying. Mechie. No,
if you count Mechie, if you count 2021 and back, he's the 7th best wide receiver. from the ride outs and J-Mo and Mechie, he's the 7th best.
There we go. So you're looking at this and going, yeah, he was a starter here, but he wasn't the level that Alabama had become accustomed to. What, in my opinion, so yeah, he was a starter, and it'd been great to have him back this year. But it wasn't like we were replacing Devontae Smith or Jerry Jeudy or let's be real. And then our tight end, not Black, good. But what did he really do? He had 5 catches? They were good.
He had more. I think he had 16 or 17.
I was being funny. My point is, you can replace those catches. Now, do you replace him with a guy like Caleb Odom? Yeah, maybe. Or do you replace him with a running back? There's like the production there. You just need a guy who can do what? Stretch the middle of the field and be a threat. I think Alabama has that. So, so Dabo is saying that these guys who are going into portal X are guys that what? That they wouldn't start. They didn't start where they were at, most of them. And he feels like he has one of the top 4 or 5 programs in the country. He said, so they won't come here and start. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
Okay. And then what was this third one? He had and then he said those who put themselves in the portal to shop themselves. They're shopping. They go into the portal to see if anybody bites. And he said he don't want those types of players on his team. He said he's not going to play that game. How many of us don't like what Caleb Downs did?
All of us.
So your coach says that he's not going to play that game, and then everybody else is dogging him, but you love your coach because what? He believes in his recruiting, etc. Now, everybody assumes that Dabo did not look in the portal. That's what he said we looked at some players and they couldn't get deals with those guys. Is that wrong? I mean, what do you do? You know, I mean, you know how many hurdles Dabo have to overcome because of the way the media has misrepresented the way he approaches the portal. They've told everybody that he doesn't do NIL, right? So, so when you're a player, you look at it that way. Anyway, hey, you may be just joining in and thinking, man, they haven't been to break in a while. We're live on the app on the live stream today. There's no radio airwaves going out today, so it's just us. We're talking Alabama sports with Martin. So we've been always, but we did have a would you rather question a few minutes ago. But Coach Bryant, would you rather be Coach Bryant in the 79 to kind of 80 range, or Saban in the 2009 to 20 range, 2020 range? And which one would you rather be and why? So we'll let you think on that for just a moment. We will add Scotty Hollins at the end of the program. All right, we had just technical difficulty there. Had a mute situation. I apologize to you if we lost connection for there just for a moment, but we're back and we're rolling live. We're having to do this thing live stream. We're not able to connect to our studio this morning, so we're having to do it on the fly, doing a live podcast. Thanks to all the callers, well, no callers, all the listeners and viewers this morning for joining us on the live stream. That's why you need to tell your family and friends to join Alabama Sports and the Martin Houston Show on Facebook. That way, we're able to go live each day. Hey, we were just about to start the conversation around Georgia quarterback transfer Jaden Rashada, who just came to Georgia, okay, after the spring, right? Just got there. I mean, why would you, Why would you bring that into your locker room? I don't even get Kirby. I don't even get that. I mean, the young man is suing. He's suing because he said that that Florida broke the contract, his NIL deal from high school, a 13 point something million X. Now here's the question. That was not even legal when he was in high school. That rule just changed. The rule just changed. The initial rule of NIL is that you could not entice a player to come to your school with an NIL deal. So he's admitting that he took a deal. But here's the part that you have to listen to, X. He took a deal from Miami, and you know he got paid on that deal, right? He got paid to go to Miami while he was still in high school. $150,000 to John Ruiz and Life Wallet. And they both say they never had a $9.5 million deal. They said, but we did have a deal. We had a small deal with him. And that they gave him money. You know why I know they gave him money, X? It says in the lawsuit or in the claim that Florida's collective had to pay back that money. So he was in high school and had gotten $150,000 to go play at Miami. Violation, rule, ineligible, right? Because at that time, the rule has changed now, and they're saying that you can't, but at that time, that was a violation. So you were cheating, your parents were cheating, the schools were cheating, and now he's suing Florida because they didn't pay him what they promised. Why would Florida be stupid enough to offer a high school kid $13.5 million? 13.85 according to him. Okay, so this kid was committed. This kid was committed to Miami, paid by Miami's collective, committed to Florida, only got a few dollars from Florida, decommitted from Florida, went to Arizona, played with Arizona, went through spring with Arizona State, and now he's at Georgia. Is the guy, who is he? You see what I'm saying? I wish the young man the best. But if I'm a coach, would you want him on your team? Everything that I just explained, committed to Miami, so much to the point that he took $150,000. His family did. Him and his family. He did. Since these players want all this responsibility, he took $150,000. And then he went somewhere else. So he broke that contract. And then that collective paid that John Ruiz in Miami back. And then he
committed there, signed there, then asked for a release and left there, and then went to Arizona State and played there. And then after this spring, he left and went to Georgia. All of that, X, is 18 months. That's from December of 22 till a month ago. Everything that I just talked about. And now that's what Kirby brought into his locker room. And supposedly Kirby knew he was going to sue Florida. Ain't no way in the world I would bring that into my locker room if I have the talent that Georgia has. What's your thoughts? I don't know if that does the NCAA have any teeth though. Now, in the court of law, they can say, well, you didn't honor your contracts either. So it's just an interesting. Virgil Williams, great question by Virgil. He says, my question is if he never played in Florida and moved from there and left there, why does he think he's entitled to anything that they supposedly agreed to when he was in high school? Virgil, he's saying, I think he's saying that they broke the contract because the day after. Now this is all hearsay, according to him. The day after he signed, they sent him a contract, I think, that says, "Oh, we're not going to pay the $13.85." The thing is, he signed the contract while he was in high school, which was illegal. I mean, not illegal, but a rule violation. So you're standing on a rule violation as the grounds for your. I mean, like I said, it's the craziest thing. And then the fact that he didn't stay, and now he's been at two. Like I said, this is his. Well, and it's one thing to say, "Hey, I commit here." It's another thing to take $150,000. That's what that was. His commitment wasn't a verbal commitment to Miami. There was an exchange of 150 grand to go to Miami. Money is the root of, the Bible says, all evil. And I say it's the root of the problem with college sports, especially the big time sports like football. Money. Whether it's the players not getting what they deserve or want more than they deserve. Whether it's the coaches getting paid more than they deserve or the schools getting more and not sharing with the players, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Every rule change, all the stuff that's happening, trace it back to money, not student eligibility, not student academics, not student health, not safety. Don't believe all that. It's all traced back to money. Money. And this is exactly this story is the sad reality of the condition of college athletics. This story right here is in a nutshell. I mean, but do I look at Kirby and go, you guys are the ones, y'all, they can't complain to me. They're the ones, they're making it happen. Supposedly Napier got on the phone and told the kid, we promise you we're gonna pay you. Now Kirby says, hey, come here and we understand that you're gonna sue Florida, but go ahead and come here to play. And then they complain about the condition of the sport. They're doing it to themselves. And so anyway, X, on the would you rather question there, when you look at Bear and Saban, two of the most dominant coaches ever, sandwich that there's actually been there was Bear, and then there was the Miami Hurricanes in the 80s. But then those two at one point have been two of the more dominant decades in modern history. But then Saban comes along and goes on a 20-year joust of dominance. But the reality of it is he did all his damage at between 2009 and 2020. Let that sink in. He didn't win one in 7 and 8, and he didn't win one in 21, 22, or 23. So the reality of it is there was 12 years that he won half of the championships. Or right? Is that right? Yeah. 9, 10, yeah. Like that from 2009 to 2020, he won 12 championships. 6 championships. So which one would you rather be? Huh? Yeah, which is crazy. And we're only a game or two from playing for more than that. So so which one would you rather be? Now, which I say which one was the most dominant. I said which one would you be? Okay. For me, I look at it this way. You look at Coach Bryant. Now, Coach Bryant's one of the most dominant coaches in his. Both of these guys have the same underlying pedigree of they were willing to evolve and take advantage of whatever the rules were for that time, right? But I'm not sure that Coach Bryant is in the same place as Saban. And for those who call up, you can agree or disagree. We can talk more about it. Bear coached in an era when he was clearly the better coach, dominant coach, etc. Right? He did things X that set him apart, went to the wishbone. For years, Coach Bryant fought the alumni to be able to recruit black players. Okay. That changed Alabama's fortune. I was born the year the first black player came to Alabama, 1970. Okay. Since that time, Alabama has more national championships than anybody. And it's not even close if you add, Bear, Stallings, Saban. But Bear had the luxury, Xavier, that he had no scholarship limitations. And DC mentioned it yesterday. Bear would sign guys X just so they wouldn't go somewhere else. Okay? Well, could you imagine doing that today? Because even before there was a transfer portal, Alabama would lose certain guys because they had sat for 2 years and they could see in front of them. But could you imagine if the guys who were going somewhere else, like the guys that went to Georgia, the top players who went to Auburn, the top players who went to other SEC schools were all sitting here and Coach Saban was coaching those guys. So not only was Alabama better than everybody else, Bear's approach, he could make everybody else worse. He could be the best team in the SEC by making your team worse, not just by him getting better. So in my opinion, he had easier era. There wasn't all of the rules and the regulations. But even he tried. You ever heard of CFA? The CFA? College Football Association. Coach Bryant tried to break away from the NCAA in his era. Did you know that? Yeah. So that tells you how much hatred, and that's why the NCAA hates Alabama if they get a chance to stick it to us. But I'm taking now the fun of it. If I now I'm taking the other side for sake of conversation. If you were to put Saban back in that era with his ability to recruit, how many would he win? Would he ever lose? I mean, let that sink in. He did it when scholarships were limited. Bear Bryant could sign as many kids as Saban had on total scholarships. He just, I mean, he, huh? I mean, he literally could have 50 guys. So you take that philosophy, portal would even matter. You just keep signing them. You'd have so many guys here. He had second and third team guys that were better, third and fourth team guys that were better than starters at some of the schools he was playing, position by position. So if you're asking me, I'd like to go back to that era. I mean, you know, just think about it. I love the competitiveness of this era. But if I'm being real, and money's not the object. Of course, I'd rather coach today's game X with the amount of money they're paying coaches, but you get it. You get it. So real quick, let me see. Curtis Moore said, I don't know what the outcome will be for Rashada suing the deal, but I wouldn't feel sorry for the Rashada kid or Florida. Florida was stupid for offering the deal. If they offered him that deal, they're past stupid. If the Rashada kid did a handshake instead of an official contract, notarized or whatever, then the kid has nothing to stand on. Here's the thing. He handshake. I think there's a contract. But the problem was the contract. Did he hold up his end of the contract? And did the contract say that this can be voided or not? There's a thing to go into contract deals and all of that. And that's where these kids are going to get themselves in trouble. He signed it X before it could officially be done. When he did this, that was against the rule. Now, can they make rules retro? Who knows? They're talking about giving Reggie Bush's Heisman Trophy back, so it can go backwards too. Yeah. Well, they did go ahead and officially do it. It was such a non-story to me. You know, you took it because he cheated, but because now that's not cheating. Oh, yeah. So give me my money. I want my NIL. I don't know if I ever told you that I was rooting one summer because I got a love offer and I had to pay it back. And I spoke at a church and a deacon at that church was an Auburn guy and turned me in, and I got ruled ineligible. And I had to pay it back. A love offer. I worked. I actually drove and everything. So there you go. Give him my how much was it? I think they paid $1.5 to come speak. Hey, we're going to go ahead and get out of here real quick. Any thoughts on Bama baseball? Unfortunately, falling to South Carolina 10-5, who was coming off of a 6-game losing streak, but found the bats and hit 4 home runs against Bama yesterday as we get ready to go to Scotty Hollins. Yeah, hopefully they get in. I think they will. Some people were starting to say that they wouldn't. I think they'll get in. I don't think they'll host a regional. but I think they will get in. Hopefully, their baseball season continues. Hey, we're gonna take a break here. We're gonna see if we can connect with Scotty Hollins, Executive Director, Blueprint Ministries, for the Harvest Church Christian Moment of the Week. Oh, real quick before we go, Curtis Moore II said, then Jeremy Pruitt should be coaching if they are doing retro for cheating like they did for Reggie Bush's husband. Man, that's a great question. That may be a topic for tomorrow, X. Let's hold on to that on true false. Will Jeremy Pruitt get brought back into the coaching ranks now that they're doing retro fitting for those who were busted for cheating? We'll be back on the other side. We'll add Scotty Hollins, Executive Director, Blueprint Ministries, to the conversation. Oh, nothing much, man. We're getting ready to bring you back in just a moment. Having to do it a little different today, so we'll be back on the air in just a moment. All right. Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. It's been a fun show. Thanks to all the callers. I'm sorry, it just out of habit. All the listeners and viewers that have joined us on the live stream. No radio airwaves today. So we're having to do it a little different, but able to connect. I'm having to produce, direct, and all that stuff today, Scotty. So, but I do have you on. You're live with us. Encourage us, Scotty, how we can add our faith to, excuse me, to wherever our chosen field of play is, whether it's the boardroom, the classroom, or in the sports world. Take it away, sir. Hmm. Yeah, it's one is Jesus, but yes, absolutely, man. Well, last week I posted there was a little sign that says surround yourself with people who will fight for you when you're not in the room. Let that sink in for a second, Scotty. Surround yourself with friends who will fight for you when you're not in the room. What does the Bible say about Jesus? It says Jesus lives to what? Intercede on our behalf. I mean, like he lives. I tell people all the time, Jesus is a friend that sticks closer than a brother, and all of those things. And I tell people, I said, the God in the earth today is the Holy Spirit. Jesus's ministry, let this sink in. That's clearly stated in the Bible. Part of it is baptizing us into, we're baptized into the body of Christ, right? But when it tells us what he's doing now that he has ascended, it says he's seated at the right hand of the Father and that he lives to intercede for us. Now think about, you talked about being that type of friend, Scotty. What would happen if I told my church this, when you look at the Lord's Prayer, it says, our Father, forgive us, lead us, deliver us. It never says, forgive me, lead me. It says, and what he did was, it says that the question that he was responding to when he gave the Lord's Prayer was what? Teach us to pray like you do. That was their request. So how do you pray, God? So Jesus was still a way to connect with the Father, but part of what he did was, it says he would be refreshed, but part of what he was doing was praying for them. So he lived to intercede or fight for us or pray for us or be a friend who has our back. And then he said, when you pray, go ahead. That's right. That's right. He is still interceding for us. Hey, listen, we didn't have to worry about cutting off because we were not on the radio airways today. It's just a straight live stream today. So tell them where they can find you, man. Hey, man, that's Scotty Hollins, and he's teaching us to love like Jesus. And hey, the question that he wants to challenge us with, and I think he said next week's going to kind of challenge our socks off, is, are you that person that when someone starts to talk about your friend, that you defend them when they're not in the room? Or are you like Jesus? Are you interceding and praying on behalf of those who may not know what to pray, may not pray at all, may not even know who Jesus is? Are you living to intercede for them as well? Scotty Hollins, Executive Director, Blueprint Ministries, will be back next week to challenge us to take it to the next level, being a friend that loves like Jesus. Thanks, Scotty. Appreciate you, man. All right. Hey, listen, we're going to wrap up this edition of the Martin Houston Show. As we wrap things up this morning, want to remind you we'll be back tomorrow for more roster management and recruiting. Alabama getting a couple of recruits from the 2026 class, not just 2025, but supposedly I want to see where we are in terms of linemen, other positions. We're getting a lot of running backs and not running backs, but DBs and linebackers. We need to start filling in the other class. We'll see where we're at on that from an Alabama standpoint. We'll also keep the conversation rolling around around the SEC and the condition of the SEC. We'll keep the NIL conversation rolling. Maybe we'll hear more news. And Curtis Moore II bringing up a great point. Maybe we do a true false on this. Will Jeremy Pruitt be restored to coaching if they're doing retro for cheating like they did with the Reggie Bush Heisman Trophy? Maybe. Hey, and if you ever have questions or comments or anything like that, you can always post them on Facebook, and we'll try to work them into the conversation. If you're not following, follow Alabama Sports and the Martin Houston Show on Facebook. We appreciate all of you who join us via YouTube and the X, but there's more content posted on that page. We'll be back tomorrow to keep it rolling. We want to thank all of our callers, all of our sponsors, and our listeners, I should say, and supporters. There is the ability to subscribe to the Alabama Sports and Martin Houston Show page. So do that, and you'll get some private content there. Remember this: trust in the Lord always, lean not in your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. Roll Tide out there, everybody.